portal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Winston. I believe this is gold, and let's take a look, see how this one goes. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do drop a like, consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you'd like to get some coaching yourself, you can join the Discord in the description below. See rates, promos, anything like that, as well as group play and such that we have going on. If you want to play with some people who want to play the game the way it's meant to be played, organized play type stuff, but only semi-organized, there you go.
Weapon system up. You have my thanks.
Okay.
Hey.
So we're set up here with Winston.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Same.
Attackers incoming. Defend
Perfectly reasonable place to set up. Probably didn't need to go here. You were perfectly fine where you were. Maybe you heard what sort of comp they were on, and that caused you to move. No, they have a Reinhardt. If they have a Reinhardt, maybe you heard that they had Ball, and that caused you to move. But if they have a Reinhardt, if they rotate this way at all, you're going to want to drop behind them. If Ball goes past, you're going to want to drop behind them. Like, if they go in this way, yeah, the spot you're in isn't the most useful in the world, but you'll have plenty of time to adjust after you know which way they're going. So I don't like this jump across here. Your spot was perfectly fine.
Protect the objective.
Walk at her. Stay on Moira. Good. Good melee. Probably didn't need that reload. So you go for this. This is good. You hit the melee. Fine. You do that. You've still got plenty of ammo, but no one's on your screen. So you're like, oh, I should reload. Except that, like, okay, no one's on your screen, but where did this ball really go? Oh, the ball just went above you? Fine. Okay, fine. They did, in fact, get away, but I don't really think you knew that they were actually away when you started that reload. You decide to reinforce this fight? I'm a little hesitant to take that jump. Like, I look at this. I don't particularly like this. It's not the worst thing in the world to go join your team over here. But I know that this Echo has used Flight, and that's actually pretty interesting to me. I'm probably more likely to pressure this Echo who's used Flight and is now vulnerable. Like, let's look at this. Oh, this Echo's just slow falling. This is something you could have pressured. This is a mistake that you can potentially punish. But that's okay. Look, she's not safe over there. Fine. You're going to bubble to protect her.
Natural selection.
Mercy. Fine. Let's see your ammo usage here.
Natural selection.
I'm really trying to catch if you melee wave or not. For the landing. You're there. You're 91. You're 89. No, that's just landing damage. I don't think there's a melee there. So let's try and get that melee when we land on our targets like this. You can really cancel the melee animation by hitting it right before you land, hide it pretty well, really get your damage. It's not actually more total damage, but it saves your clip. There's very little reason not to do it. So that's fine when you'd land actually on them. You don't want to hit it if your melee wouldn't count as hitting, but your melee here would have counted as hitting. Fine. That was 100% a melee, like especially with where his health is. You go here, that's great. Now it's just one target. You're looking at this, you're at 0. Okay, but is Amelia going to finish him? And the answer to our question is yes, it would if you could reach him, which we probably can't. So I guess we'll deal. Don't actually jump here. This is dangerous. Jump up here instead, because now if this starts to go wrong, if the Kree flashes you, fans you, anything like that, you're in this situation where it's just a step back. So you can jump above them, still zap them, still get your cleave, still get who you want. You do a much better job of turning them around to look up there, or they don't turn around and you just eliminate them, but you're much more threatening you're as threatening from up here. You have better target selection options from up here. Yes, this is a good angle for cleaving multiple of them, but this lets you pick your targets, and it gives you the safety of, oh, okay, try to hit me. Like, try to really hit me, finish me, that sort of thing when I'm up here. Much, much harder for them, but that's okay. And then what's this bubble for? Like, you go here. jump on the Moira, and I get it, you probably wanted the landing damage, but who is this for? Is this for the Kree? Is this for the Kree that's reloading? Yes, I'm getting pretty micro, but was a flash going to hit you from there? Is that what we were worried about? That's a bit of a reach. He could roll and flash, but if he rolls and flashes, he's still going to get you. So what's this bubble really for? Now I might want to bubble. I might have right here wanted to bubble and sort of been like, nope, you're stuck outside and I can walk to the front of my bubble and zap you, that sort of thing. But we sort of deployed our bubble early, which now means it didn't actually get to do its job. Like, look at how healthy this bubble is. Your bubble still got 440 HP, didn't really do its job. And sure enough, they're going to ignore your bubble.
I sense a pattern.
Okay. She's gonna have flight, that's a problem. You're trying to wait for your team here to respawn as a group. Now you're gonna walk in, sure. Yeah, you had to bubble. Okay. So it's unfortunate, but we missed out on a lot here by deploying our bubble early. And this is a habit you have to be very careful with on Winston. It can't just be land auto deploy bubble. That can't be a thing. A, you should have jumped up here, even though yes, you'd have done a little less damage to Moira. There was just too many of them for you to jump right here without getting like a Zarya bubble. But B, by dropping your bubble like the, oh, I land, so I drop bubble. No. Once there's something for you to block, that might be, oh, the application of a Discord orb. That might be, oh, a flashbang's at the appropriate range. That might be, I see Anna's hand moving for a sleep dart. Once there's something for you to block, you go for it. Oh, I'm using my bubble to block Soldier from his healing station. That sort of thing. All those have value. But it can't just be land and auto bubble. That'll get you into trouble. As it did there, because the bubble's a leash, you then can't move enough. And if you could have moved more, that team would have had way harder time pushing back in.
Objective lost.
Okay. 80% is good. Stay on Winston, I hope.
Now that's teamwork.
It's a primal. Depending on how good you are at primal, that's a lot. Sure. Oh no. So that's kind of just a mechanical mistake thing. If you aren't confident you can make it to this one, no big deal. You just jump over to this one, and you've still got a nice angle to cleave, to get 3-person damage, to get damage on squishies, to be able to drop back here to safety, drop back here and get the mega. This side is perfectly good. This is great, but this side is perfectly good. What's the bubble for?
Splashdown.
Mercy can't hurt you. Is this for the Echo? The Echo's not even looking at you. Is it for the Moira? The Moira does like 12 damage to you.
Barrier activated.
Totally get it, but the bubble didn't actually help you. You're taking notes? Hey, Charge on CD. Yeah, you've started playing Winston recently after getting your Rhine up to 3k there. Congrats again on that. Okay, you don't really want to be here. We didn't go protect her. This happens. Like again, look at how much cleave there is here. How juicy, I know. And you have health again. Like we go in, we cleave them, we primal if we have to. I know, we're waiting on lead. Okay. Playing some Minesweeper.
Would you like to do to science?
Close the angle. You're sucking so much heals right now. Sure. Good. So you've noticed you're able to punish this Echo. This is twice that you've managed to punish this Echo, managed to just jump on her and eliminate her. So she's going to be a good target. She's not handling you well for you to just repeatedly open fights up by eliminating. So pay attention. Start like honing in on her. Notice that she's a chink in the opponent's armor. Look for opportunities where she uses flight and her mercy isn't on her. Early in fights and often in fights as ways to either open the fight up in your team's favor or to bring fights back. You should like sort of have made a mental note now, because this has happened a couple times, and go, this is something I can potentially exploit for the rest of the match, at least until she adjusts. You have to admit he's much more fun. Thanks for the grats. You kneel to Monkey Chat such as yourself to pro. It's all good. It's all good. I'm glad you're enjoying him. He is fun. Okay. Tempura. Nice. Okay, this is fine. Wait for it. You're gonna have to let him in a bit. Okay, that's an opening. You just heard flight. That's something that you're now listening for because this echo's messed up a couple times and given you opportunities. You hear flight, you know that flight lasts for here. I'll show you. I'll just show you this because I don't know if you've ever played Echo.
Lifting off.
Used flight. Flight lasts here. Flight is now over. So you want to listen for this flight sound.
Lifting off.
And then you know she's got 3 seconds to play with. And now her flight is over, and she can slow fall control her movement, but this is something that you can jump onto. This is a thing that you can stand on. She's doomed. She's doomed. Like, yeah, maybe McCree can offer her fire support. Maybe Mercy can get out here and help her out. But, like, she made a mistake. And even if she does leave, even if she is able to fall her way out, Mercy's able to help her, McCree's able to help her, you've taken this angle away, and now this ball is unsupported, and now you go and work on this ball from behind while your team works on her from the front. Now, I don't think that's what you're going to do. I think you're instead going to work on this back line, and that's okay. But this is an angle that I would like answered. This is someone that you've shown you're able to punish in this match is not handling you particularly well. I'm much more interested in getting this elimination than in cleaving these guys when I already have Primal. She's so free. You're going to do this. Oh, Fade's gone, so that's another opening. We're looking for those, but it's going to be really hard to actually get this a limb if you didn't have Primal anyway. So you'll drop now. Do this. He's not looking at you yet. I don't really like where you dropped. I wanted you to drop in such a way that McCree couldn't instantly flash you. Like, McCree can flash you, and there's no way for you to drop your bubble so that McCree can't flash you. I don't really like this. I probably wanted to drop myself more over here, something like this, and then bubble so that McCree has to move a step before he can flash me. I can drop on this side, and then I've made it even more difficult for McCree. Something along those lines, rather than dropping here. I could also just drop a little bit further away, and then if McCree starts to turn, I bubble. I don't bubble immediately. I bubble when he's looking at me, or, starting to turn to look at me. No, this bubble doesn't help because he's inside your bubble. He stepped out, which is foolish of him.
Excuse me.
So you should have been able to force this coalescence out just with the proper drop. Already used Fade. You should have been able to get this coalescence out. It's not guaranteed because Mercy can hard pay attention to her and McCree can work on you while Mercy's hard paying attention to her, and perhaps you don't get it, but like you probably should have been able to get this coalescence out of her now. Sure. Okay. It's very nitpicky and doesn't really matter, okay? Okay, find her. Good. Okay, so we'll take it. We'd like to average more than that for our primals. Like, we look at this. Okay. We primaled on a less than half health Echo. Yeah, got a little bit of healing there, but this needed to be the elim right here. And the reason it's not is just lack of primal control. You were holding down left click, so you didn't happen to get to her when one of your left clicks would have counted as a hit. You didn't aim your left click particularly well, but, this is a timing and aim type thing. So, like, takes a little bit of practice. This should have been the elim right here. Then you'd have had 7 seconds of primal left to play with. And while you probably wouldn't go get another elimination with this primal, you could go force something meaningful with this primal. Go get some meaningful CDs, go put some pressure, force, for example, a fade, force for a fade and get 100 health off of Moira, finish off the Echo, like finish off on a limb that's already mostly there, that sort of thing. So like there was more value to get out of this. We missed this, just a mechanical mistake. And then we struggle a bit to find her. Sure. Would you engage off of just flight in general, or is this a special case because the Echo is feeding? So if the Echo is using flight and putting herself in vulnerable positions, I'd engage off of just flight. Or if I'm duoed with someone who can also engage, who can also go with me, I would engage off of just flight. That could be a Zen, a Genji, a Hammond, a Diva, a Tracer, like any of those things could be enough for me to go, yep, I'm going to go punish this. But if she's putting herself in poor positions like she put herself right there, and it's like, oh, that's juicy, I can stand on this, and she's either going to slow fall, which means I zap her more, or she fast falls, which I just chase her down. Like that was just too juicy to give up. But a better Echo might have had her Mercy with her, might have been like, nope, they're playing further back when they're using flight like this so that they're in line of sight of their McCree the whole time, not over here, that sort of thing. And that, yes, would change things, where I'm going to want you to be down your cooldown and maybe have another opening as well. That said, I might still jump at her just to push her back because, hey, my jump is a shorter cooldown than her flight, but more importantly, I don't want to let her in. Angles win games, and if I won't let her have this angle, and she instead has to push through here with her team or push through here, which is a very similar angle, and is probably going to find me again and force her back down, that's going to make it tough for them to put an offense together.
Pardon me. Thank you.
Right thing.
Splashdown.
We're struggling with that jump a little. I probably don't need this jump. Like, I've been here a lot of times. You've been here a lot of times at this point. So I'm looking to go, hey, do I want to maybe wait here, sort of let them start to push mid, and as they start to push mid, walk around the outside and cleave them from the back. And if it gets scary, whether they turn to look or start to turn to look, I drop my bubble. And if it's still scary, well, I can still use my leap to get out. Like, I'm probably looking for something different than just, let me cleave you from above, given that this has sort of been my default and is the default for Winston's. Ball's going, maybe we called it. They now have a Reaper, which is annoying. That Echo is sick of you. So now you're going to have to change your play a bit because they have a Reaper. Punishing the Echo is no longer your winning strategy, but we look at this. Their team should be engaging. You see the Reaper, you know the Moira's eliminated. Either they're backing out or they're doing that. You can now hear them, so you're going to go in. Sure? Okay. Bubble. Leave. Reasonable. Mega. Again, we just wanted to aim our leave better. There's no reason that we had to be like, yes, I do this. This was fine other than the wasted ammo, which, as you will learn, matters a lot when you're fighting these squishies. And here you just jump out immediately. Like, you just jump out immediately, go, no, the Reaper's too close, my bubble doesn't really help me. I'm just, like, immediately jumping out to try to leave sort of thing. Like, it doesn't matter where I land, it's better than being next to a Reaper. This, again, creates a situation where your bubble doesn't really help you, and you just needed to take one more step. Because at that point, you were out of your bubble. Oh, he was actually out of your bubble, too. Still, you needed to take one more step so that you could actually get up and over this. Not quite. Or up and onto at least. Okay. Doing some Minesweeper. Not sure what this is about with the reload, etc. What's the bubble for? I know you're low health, but who specifically is shooting at you? Is it because the Reaper's shooting at you? The Reaper's all the way over here now. That's pretty far away.
Need healing.
Okay. Probably go get the mini. To be perfectly honest, you know that this isn't available yet. You probably go get the mini, then circle back and get the mega, then pop up here and zap these guys from here. I know it feels low value, but your other option is I'm just going to wait for my team to be able to pay attention to me with heals. That's not real. You don't have your bubble cooldown anyway, so you can't do anything for a bit, really. You can walk on someone, zap them, and leave, but you can't really even walk on someone, zap them, and then use your jump to leave if you only have 155 health. You need to spend some time circling for packs.
Splashdown.
Okay. Okay. If you knew this Nano was coming, I approve of this. If you didn't know this Nano was coming, I really can't approve of jumping in here with 155 health and no bubble cooldown. I can't do it.
Splashdown.
Get in there.
And obviously the Nano was late if we knew it was coming. Okay. Biffed it. Some of these jumps, yeah. Too predictable. This is a place you can stand. You can crouch down here and be warding this side a little bit, zap them from here, like, you know, sort of angle out and then walk in and zap them out here at their backline once Ryan gets to like here. You can be waiting down over here, just sort of crouch. You're able to jump to leave if you have to, and then sort of scoot your way forward as they start to go up mid and get access to their backline, again, with your exit path through here. But I don't just want you constantly here. That's a little on the predictable side.
Group up with me.
And also what here does isn't really threatening eliminations. It's getting you a lot of cleave damage. And I'm not really in love with like, oh, we're going to farm a bunch of cleave damage right now. Because cleave damage is like, we're going to win in the brawl. And like, are we really going to win in the brawl against the Moira, Rhine, Junkrat, Reaper? No, we're not. So I'd really like to find an opening to get on their Moira when she's alone, their Moira Mercy combination, something like that. Not really going to be able to do that from here. I can pretty much guarantee it. Don't bother. He's not your target. It's a bad matchup for you. Okay, you can peek at them. Peek at them. Back off. Nothing to be had. Nothing to be had. It's not there. It's not. Okay, that helps a lot. Now you drop. Beautiful. What's this bubble for? Had the Junkrat turned? No. Starting to, so now you bubble. Okay. Reasonable bubble. Obviously, he's too close for your bubble to work, but reasonable. There we go.
Weapon system optimized.
Right idea.
Got it. Thank you, cunt.
Is comboing Primal and Nano worthwhile? Nano before, during, or after? So generally you use those ults to charge each other. So what you do is you go in when you don't have Primal and you go, aha, I'm going to get nanoed. And I'm nanoed for this, you know, I'm nanoed on my way in here. I'm nanoed here. Great. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to play for a bit with the nano. That's probably going to charge up my Primal. And then if my Primal's charged and we still haven't gotten the eliminations we needed, we almost certainly force meaningful cooldowns, but we still haven't gotten the eliminations we needed to win the fight, now I could Primal if I have to. But more likely, and frequently what'll happen, especially against worse teams, is we win with the Nano. And then the next time, the next team fight, we can Primal. And then the next team fight, we can Nano. And the next team fight, we can Primal. We don't actually want to Nano and Primal at the same time. We might go Primal, because that's the ult we have, and then we don't quite get the elims, but we force a lot of cooldowns. We force things like Lamp, like Nade, like Amp, like, we force a lot of cooldowns out of the opponent, and then as our Primal's coming to an end, or as we're about to get eliminated, we get nanoed, or we nano, and that, gives our monkey a ton of ult charge, which allows us to then Primal once the nano's gone stuff out. That sort of cycle can happen, but we don't want to use both at the same time unless the second one, either the extra life, the extra health from the nano, or the extra health from the Primal, are saving us from something having gone wrong. That was a beautiful drawing of a Primaling monkey. I thought so. Thank you. So many times that we're staging up here. Of course, their ball's going the same way every time too, so. It's an artist with the paint pad there, okay. The Junkrat's there. I do not want to walk in front of the Junkrat. I know the Junkrat is right there. I don't really want to fight the Junkrat, but I don't want to fight in front of the Junkrat either. I would rather fight the Junkrat and drop on him behind, where his Moira's probably not going to pay attention to him, than try to fight the Moira, where the Junkrat's definitely going to pay attention to me. Because the Moira's going to try to save herself, and the Junkrat is definitely going to try to blow me up. If I fight the Junkrat, it's not a good fight for us. We don't particularly like it, though we'll do it. The problem is he just, he has traps, he has mines, all sorts of stuff. He's not a good primal target, for example, and you do have primal. Like, I don't really want to deal with him, but I'd really rather still fight him than drop here, where Moira's going to use her Fade or Orb to protect herself, so she's going to pay some attention to the fight, even if she just fades to leave. We'll call that paying some attention. And Junkrat is going to pay attention to me. If I drop by Junkrat, Moira is less likely, Mercy is less likely to help Junkrat than Junkrat is to help Moira or Mercy in this situation, just based on attention.
This will protect
Okay.
us.
Ward him out. No leap? I'm willing to go pretty hard into this fight.
This will protect
I'm willing to go pretty hard into this fight because you have Primal. You have your leap cooldown. I'm pretty willing to use my leap offensively to get right back on top of that Junkrat or to get on top of the Moira that I know doesn't have Fade. And then if I get punished for going offensively with my leap, well, my bubble's already down and my leap's on cooldown. Might as well Primal. As long as you don't end up in a Junkrat trap, should be fine. So I want to use the offense here.
60 seconds remaining.
Because I'm not trying to hold Primal to stall point. That's a fool's errand. I want to actually win with Primal. And it just got harder to win. This was still a winnable fight. Still a winnable fight. You have leap again. I probably want to leap on that Mercy. Little S-key leap on that Mercy. Try and get my landing damage plus melee into immediate Primal. Slap her away. S-key jump on her again and she's eliminated. Yeah, that sounds pretty good right now. I need to do something to actually win this fight, and that means offensive power. And the offensive power I have available to me right now is my clip, my leap, or my Primal. And you're choosing to use your clip, your ammo. And maybe you're going to Primal once your clip is out. Maybe that's how you're thinking about this. Okay. Okay, the trap's gone. Junk's really not a good target. We found the trap. Yep. Yep. Good old up left, nothing beats that.
Together.
Poor
we are
predictable
strong.
Winston always chooses up left. Okay, so we're coming out of Zarya. That's clearly because they're on Reaper Junkrat, and you're sick of it. I get it.
Hear you. Thank you kindly.
Fighting.
Acknowledge.
But that's good, by the way. If you're getting them onto Junkrat Winston for you, it means you're doing something right. Or if they think you're doing something right. Moira, she's your target. Too early. Okay.
Russia with love.
You have personal, so you can be here. You just used personal, so now you can't be here. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. You need to be leaving already. Need to be leaving. Need to be leaving. Too slow to leave. Now you have Nano. Still don't really want to just stand in the open. Still want to line of sight dance with this pillar here. Want to have it as an option to close on. Someone else is already on point. Looks like you're Mercy. She's not really a good person to be on point, but she is. So you don't need to be on point. You're also not close to a tick. Your monkey was so powerful, the other team went Hog Cree Brig. I didn't swap off. My team was not pleased. Me no care. Silverback grind set. There you go. There you go. Hogs, Reapers, Bastions, Junkrats, Divas. Those are all annoying to us, monkey. It's true. Oh no! No! That sucks. Oh well. Okay. So really the issue was you let this fight get away from you in the early phase. You went down 1 and you had to primal to get back into the fight. You had to. This is last point, and it was only going to get worse, and I'm concerned that maybe you were thinking, oh no, I want to hold my primal on to stall. Though I guess you didn't. You did then ultimately use it offensively. You were just late. The earlier the better. Like the earliest valid ult is generally going to be the best valid ult because it's going to solve the fight. It's going to win the fight faster before they get a chance to line up their ult, their win condition, their solution, however you want to think about it. Okay, let's continue on through here.
Ready for battle. Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Are we staying on Zarya? Okay.
5, 4, 3.
Zarya Sigma, my favorite. It's not my favorite.
Defend objective A. We strike as one.
Thank you, Khan.
That's annoying.
Get here.
You couldn't quite decide if your Sigma was going to leave that barrier there or not. We should have already used a bubble. So, like, the truth is, this isn't really the rotation I want to take. I'll deal with having taken this rotation. I really wanted to be here with my bubble because your team wanted to rotate through here to get in. And if you bubble, that's going to help cover that. Yeah. It's unfortunate that he throws that barrier there. But you continue to take damage there, and you don't bubble. And I get it, but like you'd have your bubble back by the time you needed it elsewhere, and now we're still playing as a 0 energy Zarya. It doesn't really work for me. You've probably taken about 300 damage so far, 250, 300 damage, and we didn't get any energy.
Get here.
Now, I don't mind waiting until, you know, like they do some damage to you so that they're doing damage to you and you can tell they're doing damage to you. You expect more to use that bubble, but we didn't find a chance to use a bubble there. And therefore, we don't getting to use this time between fights to regain our cooldown.
Get in there.
Huh? That's okay. Obviously not quite what we want in terms of projected bubble. And we're late with that personal bubble. Okay. Oh, bubble got yoinked. Yeah, that's a bubble. And you get good energy off it. Oh, it's your Echo friend.
Thank you.
Barrier is on you.
It's too hopeful of a bubble. You really don't want to bubble him to tell him to go in. You want to bubble him when he's already going in.
Thank you.
Oh, got a little lucky to get any energy off that. Okay, you're gonna have to bubble and leave basically now.
Barrier activated.
Oh no, you let yourself get stuck. No, no! I don't think you can keep this space. You do. Oh boy.
Get in there.
I'm much less interested in this Reinhardt. This Reinhardt and Moira can't hurt you. What are they going to do to you? Nothing. They're literally going to do nothing to you. You got healed? I want to walk on these guys. They both go down. Right? You go after the Moira, not the Rein. Okay. Okay.
Don't be shy.
Okay. Not in the best bubble. That's better positioning. Yeah.
Personality.
Unfortunate to see that one get away from us.
You're covered.
That's 12 energy. Oh, you got up to 19. The earliest valid ult is generally going to be the best ult because it's going to solve the fight faster. Write that down, write that down. It's no Hog Diva, but it will suffice.
Barrier won't hold together.
Barrier activated.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Rebel, good. Sure. Sure.
Do you even live?
Okay. No bubble for that? Like, that swing was very predictable. Swing. This swing is going to hit you. This swing is going to hit you. It's going to hit you. It's going to hit you. Why did it hit us? Why did we not bubble that? Like, it's effectively a projectile. You know it's coming. Yes, he can cancel it with a shield, but he wasn't going to. Like, I wanted that damage prevented. I wanted that energy.
The objective. Reinforce this position.
My thanks.
Push up. You're Zara. You need to push up between fights. You need to. Like, you have to push up in order to maintain your energy, get your snowball going. I wanted to get more aggressive than that, but okay.
Objective A out.
This would have been a fine place to play.
Go.
No, that's just hopeful. Okay, now you're done. You're not pushing for 8 seconds. You're not doing it. Sickness changes. No! No! Hands. We call this cooldown hands. You don't want to bubble Sigma during hands unless, like, there's a Reinhardt swinging into him. You don't. You're fighting over. If stuff shoots into his hands here, his shift cooldown, you're going to. It's going to give him extra health. If people shoot into your bubble, it's going to give you extra energy. You don't really want to be competing over extra energy versus extra health. Like, we don't want to stack those tools.
Barriers on you.
Okay.
Lifting off. That.
Oh no.
Огонь по готовности.
That could not have been much more obvious. Okay. So you're down Mercy. I'm just not interested. Like, you're not going to finish the point on a push where you're down 2 people and you're on top of their spawn and it's not overtime spawns. Like, it's just not going to happen. Maybe if you used Grav, EMP, Nanoblade or something, but like, no, we're not going to. We might get eliminations, but we're not going to like decisively win this fight the way that we need to finish this on second point of a 2 CP map without overtime spawns, without having been on the point for a long time, where their spawns slow down, anything like that. Like, no, in no way do I want to dump Grav into this. You forced that. Now you're struggling to get her. Sure. Sure enough. Oh, why couldn't my team get a limbs during my Grav? Why couldn't they do it? My team's so bad. Why couldn't we get a limbs during Grav? I was the only one doing any damage. Well, 2 issues. First off, 2 people on your team were eliminated. Second off, you mean your Junkrat that's back here? Your Anna that's back here? Why could they not get eliminations during Grav? I mean, there's only 4 people in play. Okay. I'm not saying you're actually thinking that, but that's what most Zaryas would be thinking here, and like, it's because this was a bad Grav. I don't know if this makes sense, but thinking of ults like that reminds me of comparing contrasting value versus tempo in games, like Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, etc. Okay. Okay. Sort of. It sort of makes sense, yeah, I'm familiar with the concept.
My will is unbroken.
Imagination is the essence of discovery. Observe the barrier.
Okay, now we're back on our monkey.
Mobility increased.
No, no, no. You can stand on this. And if you stand on this, this Echo is doomed. Like, this Echo is doomed if you stand on this. Instead, she got out. And you spent 350 health trying to get her. And yeah, she lost health too, but like, you disproportionately spent health and are going to give them damage ult charge. Yeah, you'll get some support ult charge, but you already have max support ult charge, and your team's going to have to spend time, and it'll take longer to heal you back up than her. Like, this isn't quite what we wanted. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, Charger on CD. Holding Primal till the last possible second when you're at 1 HP would be, oh, value play. I'm getting healed 999, maximum time in, but we sacrifice the temp out. Yeah, I get it.
Fundamental.
And there's places where we value both. With Primal, I'm looking generally for the extra offensive power. Like, it's a big deal. It's not always. Sometimes you're looking for the second life aspect, like we talked about. Engage with Nano, Primal later if you need the second life. But with something like Diva, it's very rare that I want the self-destruct done to just eliminate people. I'm much more likely to go, yes, I want that, but my primary consideration is, do I need a fresh mech? Am I out of resources? Sort of thing, which would be more value.
Get back in the fight.
Never knew you could stand to that. Yeah, no reason to know it's Rhyme-Man. It's true. It's true. You'll see Widows prop up here pretty frequently. Like, this is a pretty frequent Widow place.
Hello there.
Okay, you have a Tracer. You have a Tracer, and they don't have a Reaper or Junkrat. Cool. I can live with that bubble. Leave. You did what you needed to. I didn't want to reload in his face. Like, cool. How do I put this?
Heroes never die.
Everything I've wanted to accomplish, I've accomplished, and I have 424 health left. Yes. I would like to, as soon as I can, leave. I'll fight this until I have to, because, hey, I can't leave yet. I don't have leap. Not sure why I'm reloading. Not at all sure why I'm reloading. I should be melee weaving, boom, melee weaving while zapping, zap, melee, zap, melee, that sort of thing. And as soon as I have this leap back, I'm leaving. Because I have no interest in fighting this Reinhardt. I could go fight that. That makes sense. No. I reloaded for some reason with a third of my clip left, but like I had the possibility, I probably wouldn't have made the leap because it has to be too precise and the Reinhardt hitting me is likely to mess it up. But like, hey, I could jump over here and work on what was over here, which is now nothing. Or I could go, hey, let me scoot over here and jump over here and get on this Echo, who, sure enough, doesn't have flight. Way more interesting to me than trying to fight this Reinhardt. Mercy pocket or no mercy pocket. No, she's over there without flight. Please. Moira will never be able to get her. Why no melee? Bubble.
Mercy.
Okay, the Mercy dupe. Force her out. Melee weave. You still melee weave. If we'd melee weaved, she'd be eliminated. Okay. Okay.
Who's got the hot hand?
You can't get eliminated here. That's an unfortunate jump. I don't really know why you jumped into this. Maybe you're thinking, hey, we can eliminate him faster. Or maybe you're thinking, hey, I'm going to get Primal, so you should be mashing the Primal button. You cannot afford to go down here. This is a fight that maybe isn't going perfectly, but is going reasonably well. You have 5 of you alive. Yeah, they're alive, but they're in like respawn territory. You can finish this soldier. You can finish this Echo. You're in this fight if you go down, if you stay alive. If you primal, you probably pick up 2 limbs. If you don't primal, you get eliminated and this pushes over. And I know it was a tight window because you got your primal like right there, but you did have definitely had time to press it. And I assume your decision to jump in was specifically because you knew you would get primal, which is why I don't accept being slow on this. If you didn't realize you were about to get primal, you got no business jumping in here because, hey, you can't use your jump to engage unless you're basically landing on the target, not landing on them and then doing damage for a second, but landing on them is going to eliminate them, or you have your bubble or primal.
Who's got the hot hand?
He's still Valk, huge play.
Miracle of science. Splashdown.
Okay, it's over. It's over. It's over.
Barrier.
Sure, you're not going to use it for 13 seconds anyways. Whatever. Took way too long to close the angle, but hey. It's fine. You don't need to peek. You can just be here. If they try to walk past onto your Ana, you'll zap them. But you don't need to...
I'm under attack.
Okay. Why? Oh, Echo, you used flight, hey? That's cool. Echo, you used flight. You know what I'm going to do if you used flight? I'm going to threaten jumping at you, but actually just land here, which is going to make you fly away from me. And then I'm going to round to the other side of this so that you can't shoot me. You have to use the rest of your flight to come back in or to try to angle, and angling is going to take too long with how I've controlled your flight because I left here to make you go away, and then you go, oh, I'm going to shoot you, and you wrap around here where you can cleave my team, and I don't like that, and I'd like to keep shooting at you. I don't have time to go there, so I have to go in to maintain my height, and then, oh, well, I'll just come back here and finish you. Like, there's plenty to manipulate here. In no way did you need to get here, like, just literally hit your leap here. This is better anyway, because even if you still want to just drop and fight these targets, you've used your leap and then you've spent a second or two going around here, so now your leap is only 3 seconds away when you're in the fight, as opposed to 5 seconds away, which is what it's going to be now. You've also put 0 pressure on the Echo on your way in, whereas my way put a lot of pressure on the Echo.
This will protect us.
Mercy's a good target here. Good. Cool.
Fun for the
Cool.
audience.
Moira's your new target. If you have to primal, so be it. We would like to get our leap damage before primaling. We would have liked to get our leap damage before primaling, but that's okay. That's not primal control. Hit Moira. Okay. Figure out where she went. Figure out where she went. Figure out where she went. She's over there. S jump. S jump. Maybe even back up, like hold S, then hit S jump for just a moment. Land on her. And as you land on her, left click. Don't hold left click. As you land on her, hit left click. And if you really get fancy about it, you'd land like here, and you'd be turned and you'd hit it, so you'd bounce her into that so that she's sort of stuck, and then you'd sort of walk forward and try to jam her in this, and then you'd be mashing both your shift and your left click, and that would be fantastic. But I'm willing to settle for, I found her, I leap with an S, I land right on her or right past her. If right past her, I turn around for it. I get my landing damage, and right as or right before I get my landing damage, I hit my left click so that I'm going to get both. I don't just be holding down left click. I go, I figure out which jump is going to make sense, and I hit that jump. Even if you're slow, even if you waste some of your primal time because you're figuring out which jump to use, you're moving yourself to be able to hit those jumps precisely, that's how you're going to get better at using primal, so I'm okay with it. And it's better than that. That was a regular length jump. That was not a short jump. That was a regular length jump. Okay. And Moira's your target. You know she's empty. That was too far of a jump again.
Where were we?
If you're holding backwards as you jump, you'll go less distance. If you're not touching the keys as you'll jump, you'll go a medium distance. If you're holding forward, you'll go a pretty far distance. Yes, there is a minimum distance, like they can be inside your minimum distance for S jump, and it can be annoying, so manipulate how far you are from them to make your minimum jump distance work, by backing up a step, for example. Primal isn't as easy as it should be. I mean, it's hard, I don't know if it should be easy, but I agree it can be challenging. Unfortunate.
10 seconds
They're going
remaining.
to lose. Press the attack.
Taking the objective.
Neat fun thing, Primal resets your jump entering and exiting. It really replaces it with a different ability, but yeah, I mean, it replaces it with an ability that has a 1.5 second cooldown instead of a 6 second cooldown, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And obviously, while you're in primal for 10 seconds, your 6-second cooldown has had time to come back. But yes, it resets it as a reasonable way to think about it. Why do you think you can jump on this? Like, conceptually, this is not a great thing to jump on because you don't have your bubble, you don't have primal. The closest thing you have to an out is I'm going to land on them and then circle out here maybe, circle in here maybe. Like, this isn't actually amazing. If these targets were going to get eliminated by you landing on them, if they were at like 90 health or less, cool, I'm good with it. Right now, and if it was a Moira, sure, of course I'm fine with it. But a Moira and a soldier, when the soldier's on his heal station, has a Moira next to him and is full health, it's not in your hands whether you live or not. It's how hard can your team pump you with heals, and how bad is their aim.
Splashdown.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
There's your melee. That's a little bit unfortunate. When people start to get low health, you actually do micro this pretty hard. Where you go, hey, if you wanted to walk closer and melee him here, no problem, because he still has plenty of health. If you melee him here, no problem. Now you're at the point where you actually sort of want to go, hey, I'd like my melee to not be in this situation where I've kind of almost slowed myself down because he's got less than 30 health left. I'd have probably liked my melee to be delayed and be the final 30 health there, but that's okay. Because the thing is, your melee does 30 damage, which is the same DPS as your Tesla, but your Tesla is doing damage much more rapidly than every half second, whereas your melee is, I do 30 damage, and I'm sort of on a half second lockout at that point. So right when they hit 30, you want to melee for that last bit. Before then, you just melee whenever it makes sense, whenever you're sure you're going to hit it. And I'd rather they have 29 or 27 health when they melee than them have, 43 health when I melee.
This will protect us. I sense a
Victory.
Well, that sucks. Okay. Was this match winnable? Absolutely. This match was totally winnable. A couple pushes ago when you were in this situation where, hey, there, Orisa was down, you had shots here to win this, better primal use, etc. Okay. In terms of things that you would want to work on, there's a lot of places that we could go. I don't like that you're defaulting to the same place every time. We could definitely work on primal mechanics from a, hey, slow it down, figure out which jump is going to work, hit that jump standpoint. We could talk a little bit more about your random reloads. We could talk about needing to bubble when people actually start to turn to look at you, not just because that unfortunately did lock you out of options a couple points. We could talk about not jumping on targets without either your bubble or your primal available. You can walk on targets without those available and then leap out. We could talk about any of those things. So what is going to be the most important to your play based on what we saw, how frequently things came up, and just general importance? Yeah, I mean, the bubble's really important. I really do want you to make sure that your bubble is going down in reaction to people starting to turn to look at you, and I want you to think about the distance that it creates. So, like, when we go back to here, you dropped here, and you dropped where the McCree was going to be inside your bubble deploy distance. And you need to be thinking about that. You need to be thinking about, I need to start the fight in such a way that my bubble deploy is actually useful, can actually block his flashbang, can actually give him problems. So again, that could have been a drop yourself up on here, then drop to this side type thing and zap them from here. That would have created the proper distance. That could have been a drop further away and start working on him rather than his team. And then at your max Tesla range, he is outside your bubble and you can drop your bubble. Yes, he can roll in and flash you, but then he doesn't have roll to go ahead and fan you after the flash. Like, he'll still fan you after the flash, but he doesn't have anything in the tank after that. So I want you to think about the distance, but the main thing I want you to think about is you're thinking about using your bubble to block things. It's here to block the sleep. It's here to block the flash. It's here to block the rock. It's here to, I mean, those are some of the main things that we'd be looking at here. It's here to block the Junkrat nade. Sure, like, okay, it can do all of those things, but it's not generically blocking damage from Junkrat. It might be blocking Junkrat nades, but it's not just generically blocking damage from Junkrat. It's, hey, or generically blocking damage from the enemy team. It's, hey, I'm blocking this person's damage, or I'm blocking this ability. It's not just, oh, Reinhardt's swinging at me, there's a Mercy boosting him, let me drop my bubble. For what? The Moira that's zapping you? Who cares? That bubble is your ability to really open up and start fights for your team and for yourself. Your ability to do really much freelancing by yourself is heavily tied to your bubble, so you really want to be careful about using it when it's not actually going to do anything. And what that means is you are using your bubble intentionally. You are using your bubble with a purpose to block specific things, like that Kree flashbang, like that Ana sleep dart or nade, not the Moira right click, not the Reinhardt swinging at you. Like, that's what I want you to understand, and that's going to be the important thing I'm going to want you to work on first. The next thing I'm going to want you to work on is going to be, like, most of the time, I don't want to make a point out of you engaging fights from behind or from the side, though I kind of do want to make that point. It's important. I really don't like that you dropped in front of the Junkrat, but I'm going to ignore it. Instead, we're going to talk about punish this Echo. Notice when there's a player that's making mistakes that you have figured out how to beat, that you've figured out a working formula against, and keep running that working formula against them until it stops working, until they adapt. Now, if you get really good, you start mixing it up a little bit, and so that they don't just constantly get to, if people get to wrestle with a single problem, they can actually be pretty decent at solving it, so you start throwing them different looks to mess them up. But honestly, at this level, keep throwing the problem at them until they solve it. They probably won't solve it in time, and even if they do solve it by swapping to Reaper, you were able to win 2, 3, 4 team fights before they were able to. Well, winning 2, 3, 4 team fights before they're able to get to the coin flip of which team is better is huge for your ability to win games. Like, oh, you won. Okay, let's say it's a 50-50 flip over who wins any given team fight, and you were able to find and exploit the Echo before the team fight was decided 4 times over the course of a match. Well, okay, if that means that you'd have generally won 2 of those fights and lost 2 of those fights, and you instead won 4 of them, or you instead won 3 of them even, let's say. Okay, well, that's 1 or 2 extra team fight wins. That's how you flip matches. So, like, when you notice openings, I want you to go exploit them. And Monkey is a really good character for doing that, for noticing when people, because you can hide, you can freelance, you can do that, and you can look for people that you can punish because they made mistakes. Moiras that used Fade improperly, that's someone to go punish. Echoes that used Flight improperly, that's someone to go punish. Zaryas that used their personal bubble and didn't get any charge from it and are kind of isolated. That's someone to go punish. Like, those are all things that you're looking for. Zarya's a less frequent target, though she's certainly viable, but you're really looking for squishies that make mistakes. You're watching them like a hawk for they misused a cooldown, they have a Discord orb on them, I just saw someone else connect with damage, and either they're any level of separated, their team's not paying attention to them, or like I can engage them from the side or from behind where their team won't immediately see that I'm engaging on them, so I can convert that to an elimination pretty quickly before they're going to get any help. That's like something that you want to take as a playstyle of Monkey and go, this is what I'm looking to do. This is one way I'm looking to take over matches and try to win. So, like, finisher Monkey. Like, you want to be the Monkey that goes, I'm constantly watching for cooldown mistakes or for combos from my team. Like, hey, Tracer just went in on someone, I'll help. Hey, a Discord's there, I'll help. Hey, my Pharah just hit them with a rocket. My Ashe just hit them with a body shot. And I'll be the finisher Monkey that just shows up and finishes them off when they make mistakes or when my team does damage like that. Like, look to play like that for a bit so that that is in your arsenal, and that's going to help you win some of these games. You don't have to solo all these things, and you don't have to be like, oh yes, I just go and like look for these openings that they will create for you themselves. This Echo, for example, created lots of them. Okay. It's two things. Third thing I'm going to give you, you need to work on your jump mechanics in general as well as your primal mechanics. I would specifically work on your jump mechanics. There's too many jumps that you're just missing. You're sort of hitting walls, things like that. Spend some time, go into like a custom game, the practice range, whatever, and start practicing trying to jump to specific spots. Like start going, okay, I want to jump. You could go to the practice range where they've sort of lined off 5, 10, 15, 20 meters, and you could go, okay, how far do I go when I jump like this? What about when I jump like this? What about when I jump and then use my jump pack? What if I jump, then use my jump pack, then sort of jump immediately after I've landed to try to surf my momentum a little bit? Okay, what if I jumped and then midway through my jump, that was a regular jump, I wasn't pressing any direction when I hit it, I start holding back on the S key. How much does that slow me down? That sort of thing. Like work with your jumps, really get an understanding of the distances because your jump accuracy is your bread and butter. Like Winston, Winston, no aim, no brain, or Winston, no aim, all brain, however you want to think about it. No. Winston is a projectile. Winston is a projectile hero. He's just the projectile that you have to aim to get value out of him. Because that jump pack, being able to reliably get, you won't get 50 damage out of it very often. Sometimes, though, being able to reliably get 40 damage out of it rather than 20 damage out of it is a lot. Like, it actually becomes part of his burst combo, and it has to be part of his burst for Winston to reliably finish people off. Okay. Those are the three things I want you to work on. I want you to do some mechanical time specifically with your jump pack. You can do that independently. Just go, hey, I'm actually going to work on this. I'm not just going to be like, hey, I'll just use jump packs in matches and I'll get better at it like that. You're actually going to go into the practice range or into a custom game where you turn down the cooldown on jump pack so that you can practice it, so that you can be accurate. I want you to, like, if you don't go to the practice range where you have meters drawn off, you can go to a map with no one on it but you, turn off your cooldown so that you can jump as often as you want. Go put a spray on the ground somewhere and jump onto it repeatedly. Like you could go, oh, let me jump onto the spray repeatedly from different distances, or let me try and do that. Oh, I'm not consistently landing on this spray I put on the ground. That's a problem. Okay, let's figure out how we can fix that. And then you can level up that training and start doing things like I'm going to jump past my spray, but I'm going to drop my bubble to cover the spray, things like that. That can be good at getting practice for like bubbling over grabs, bubbling over self-destructs that you yourself don't necessarily want to go into, things like that. But that's more advanced and not what we're talking about here. But like, be able to jump on the spray, be able to figure out what all the different jump manipulations look like, jump from different distances, different spots, different heights, that sort of thing, and still be able to land on that spray you put on the ground. And the reason I want you to do that in a practice range is because or not a practice range, but a custom game, is because I want you to actually get time being able to jump constantly rather than having to wait for jump opportunities in game. You'll eventually get better at it in game, but we can sort of speed up your process. So work on that mechanically, and then one at a time, work on 5 to 15% of your brain power. Those looking for those openings to punish, really spend effort trying to recognize openings, find someone on the other team and go, who am I potentially going to be able to punish? And then figure out, oh, I'm potentially able to punish the Moira, but the Echo actually makes a lot more mistakes, so let me go on the Echo. Or, oh, I have a Zen on my team, let me just go chase the Discord orb, that sort of thing. Or, oh, my Fair keeps hitting rockets and no one's ever finishing them, let me go do that sort of thing. Like this finisher monkey playstyle, as well as finisher playstyle, jump mechanics. Shoot, what was the other thing that I talked about there? Oh, bubbles specifically to block things when people are actually starting to turn towards you, not just because it's part of your cycle. No. Just because it's part of your cycle, messed you guys up on a first point take here. Okay. For Zarya, you've obviously got work to do on your bubbles. I mean, you've obviously got work to do on your bubbles, but your personal bubble is probably going to be the easier one for you to work with to start. You have poke personal bubbles, which are the enemy team is shooting at us. We expect them to continue to shoot at us. We personal bubble, and we're pretty comfortable doing that because we know that the enemy can't really run on us. They don't want to brawl on us. We're not trying to start a brawl in the next 8 to 10 seconds. Cool. We'd like to use a bubble to get energy. We do actually want to make that happen, though. You spent a lot of time as a low energy Zarya, and if you're having trouble getting teams to shoot at you, to give you chances to use your personal bubble, play more aggressive. Play more aggressive, get a little closer to them, send more right clicks at them until you find that they are willing to shoot at you. And then personal bubble and basically immediately back off. And if you get eliminated, okay, you played too aggressive. But like you need to sort of limit test that because right now you're struggling to get energy and you're just going, oh shucks, I guess this is how Zarya works. And it's not. Zarya does not struggle to be high energy. Like Zarya is not that challenging to get to high energy. If you're struggling to get Zarya high energy, it's generally because you're bubbling too early. You're just trying to will people into shooting at you, or you're bubbling way too late. And okay, you bubble, you take, but they immediately break your bubble and eliminate you. So like press into them harder in the poke phase if you have to make them pay attention to you and shoot at you, and then back off. That's fine. Like if we go back here to what you did, we're gonna go. Okay, I'm going to go here. I'm going to send right clicks at you from right here. And if you won't pay any attention to me, I will literally stand here or I will walk even closer and send right clicks at you with good accuracy, or I'll start to beam you. And then, okay, now that you did 100, 150 damage to me, I'll personal bubble and back off and go do this. And oh, my Sigma shield is here. Well, frick it. I'll walk in front of my Sigma shield if I have to. I don't want to have to walk wildly in front of it, but I'll do it. It's taking damage. I'm taking damage. I don't want to not have my bubble on cooldown when I'm rotating through here. And I also don't want to have like 13 energy when I push in here. No, I needed to push ahead of my team and go get as aggressive as it takes to get them to shoot at you to use your bubble. Obviously, don't go here when there's 4 of them right here, but don't play from here either. Play from up here, this sort of thing. Like, it's going to be hard for them to push you, and you can bubble and you can back up to here. And if they chase you with 4 people and come eliminate you here, so be it. Oh, I'm just going to deal with that. But, like, you got to get more energy, and that means being a little bit more of a bully, being a little bit more aggressive in your poke phase to get you more energy. Okay, that's what I'm going to give you. I could get more into your Zarya, but I've actually given you quite a bit of Winston stuff here, and I don't want to flood you, don't want to lose you, so we're going to call it there. If you or anyone else has questions, throw them up in chat there. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do drop a like. Consider subscribing if you haven't. If you're looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on. And then lastly, in the Discord, we have a internal scrims going on. We have not quite pug games, a little more organized than pugs, but kind of pugs going on, 6 stacks going on. Play together. You can join, become a silver scarf. We're doing monthly, maybe a little more often than that, events where, hey, we're going to play together, scrim each other, that sort of thing, but they're also stacking more frequently than that. And you can join in, find some people similar to your rank, go have some fun. It's more fun than playing by yourself. It really is. Winston is a projectile. He is, though. Okay, bubbling Rhine and isolating heals is a bad play. It's not a terrible play to bubble Rhine and isolate heals, but you better have already gotten their Reinhardt low. Like, if you're bubbling off a full health Reinhardt to block his heals from his Ana or whatever, you're not going to eliminate him to time. She's going to catch up, and she's going to go, okay, let me get a nade, that sort of thing. Or even if she doesn't catch up, he's going to do a lot of work. Like, bubbling a Rhine works better when he's already at, like, half health, that sort of thing, and you mess up the Ana who thought she had time. It also works much better when the opposing team is running an Ana, not a BAP. It doesn't really do anything to a team running a Zen, that sort of thing. But if they're running, like, BAP Lucio, yeah, it can be useful. It can be useful, but you're generally going to want him to already be missing some health when you go for that play, especially because your team damage to him probably isn't going to be super high if you have a Winston, unless you also have a Reinhardt, because he's going to put his shield up when he's in that bubble, because he's not a fool, and he's going to try to back out of the bubble, and his team's going to try to break the bubble. You hope anyways. And if he's put his shield up, he's going to take less damage. How are you going to eliminate him? Well, if you're Reinhardt Winston, you can do a lot of piercing damage. But if you're not Reinhardt Winston, again, you wanted him to already sort of be around half health before you went for that bubble to cut off heal plays. Okay, we'll go ahead and call it there. I'm not seeing any further questions. Oh. Blast says voice lines is the most important. Set up the proper Winston voice lines, set up the proper Winston sprays, set up the proper emotes. I don't know about that one. Okay, we'll call it there. Thanks, guys.